You've created a lot of leaders in the past and as you've gone through business. And I think it's funny, we'll go out and just happy having dinner and you'll have people come up to you and say, just the other night we were out and somebody said, we never would have started a company if we hadn't worked for you.
I see so many business owners are in the grind every day that they really don't set aside some time to work on their business instead of in their business. And so you get caught up in this grind all the time, and you literally have to just set time on your calendar, whether it's monthly, quarterly, to evaluate where you are and where you want to go.
Welcome to today's episode of Copilot Coaching Podcast. I'm excited to sit down with someone who truly embodies what it means to scale, lead, and live with vision, Gary Lightfoot. Gary has over 30 years of experience as an entrepreneur and industry leader, growing his business from 2 million to 20 million, winning national awards, and now coaching other entrepreneurs to do the same. So I'm excited to have you here today.
Great to be here.
So let's talk a little bit about your background, and I want to hear some stories. So let's start off with when you look back at the journey you went through, the early days of your business to where you are now. Is there a mindset or belief system that you feel like really made the biggest difference for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So early on, I felt like I was an island all by myself, and which I didn't know what I didn't know, right? And so I think the biggest thing to take away is that always got to have this growth mindset. And not just in business, but personally, business, your relationships, your health, your wealth and money, everything. And there's so many opportunities today to access to great people, videos, and keeping that growth mindset and always continue to grow and learn, I think is just a super.
Absolutely. I love that. You've seen both fast growth and long-term business leadership in business. What do you believe separates owners who stay stuck from those who break through to that next level of success?
Once I really got into it, what I learned was that I was the problem. And I kept hitting these walls in business and not being able to get over the walls. And I really felt like I knew what I was doing and that I was trying and all this stuff, but I just could not get over that hump. And it wasn't until I really learned that I'm the one that needed to grow and learn. So I could take my team to the next level. And we were just stuck in this rut because I wasn't growing myself until I started really learning and growing leadership skills and how to lead a team and put a plan together, execute a plan. Then we just continued to be stuck. And so I really feel like that it was me that had to grow first before I could grow my company.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually heard you refer to that before as leading yourself first.
Yeah.
And it's before you can really be a leader to others, you have to lead yourself first. And I love listening to you talk about it.
Yeah. You got to get outside your comfort zone. And that's not always easy. I used to be afraid to even sit down in front of a camera and do a video of myself early on when I started. And then to get up in front of 100, 150 people and lead a team of people and lead a team of managers and other leaders, it's a game changer.
Absolutely. You've created a lot of leaders in the past and as you've gone through business. And I think it's funny, we'll go out and just happy having dinner and you'll have people come up to you and say, just the other night we were out and somebody said, we never would have started a company if we hadn't worked for you.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's the kind of stuff that I live for, and it makes me feel good and know that I'm having an impact.
Absolutely. So let's talk about advising other business owners and just talking to them about what's going to help them get to that next level. So you were sitting down with a business owner right now. They're overwhelmed, stretched thin, don't really know what to do, can't get over that hump that you talked about. What's the first thing? What's the big lever? Is there a big lever that they can pull to say, all right, let's get to the next level?
There's a lot of them, but what I'm going to say is going to sound self-serving, but I'm going to say get a coach. Because over the years, I've had a lot of different coaches and they're not all equal. And I never had any that were bad, but a lot of them were specialized and had, like, one of the companies that coached me for years, maybe 10 years, was a great company. And their strength was financial strength. And so I learned finances, how to read a financial statement, numbers, KPIs, and I got really good at that. The owner of that particular coaching company was an accountant and a CPA. So that made perfect sense, but it did not help me grow my business. I was still staying at the same level. I was smarter and I could read financials, But until I got paired with the coach that really helped me get over the thing that I was struggling with, which was myself and leadership, and that's when it all changed. So my recommendation is get a coach. I've had coaches all my life. I've had strength and conditioning coaches. We have coaches today still. We're learning and growing. I think it's important.
Yeah, we have a coach for Copilot Coaching.
That's right.
And that personal mindset is such a big deal. And so finding somebody, seems like there's a lot of gurus out there right now, right? A lot of people who, oh, that I exited my company, and so now let me show you how to exit your company. And but what we found is that those gurus aren't always who you want to go to, right? What are some red flags you think, as far as if you had to ask somebody a question, let's say they're not talking to us, but they're trying to find a coach, what kind of things would you be looking for? Overnight success, I think, is the problem. They're looking at it and
Yeah.
they went from nothing to millionaire in 18 months, and now they're going to try to tell you how to do it, right?
I would definitely look for somebody that's got a track record, just started doing it, that's been doing, has a track record going where you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. All right. So let's talk about being a visionary. You're truly a visionary. You look at this big picture, and how would you define what does that mean to you, being a visionary in a business? And what advice would you give, especially to business owners who don't see themselves that way? Let's say that they've been an operator in the business for so long, and now they're not even really sure that's who they are. What does that mean to you, and how can they make that transition?
I think it's, first of all, it's super important, but you got to set aside time to do that. I see so many business owners are in the grind every day that they really don't set aside some time to work on their business instead of in their business. And so you get caught up in this grind all the time, and you literally have to just set time on your calendar, whether it's monthly, quarterly, to evaluate where you are and where you want to go. I can remember that we had lots of meetings, vision meetings, where we would set out what's the future look like? Where do we want to be in a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from 10 years from now? And then we would create documents. You can do it. We had a vision document that we had displayed in our meeting room in the front office. And so everybody's always seeing, wow, in 2030, this is where we're going. This is what we're going to look like. And so I think that's important. You can have an org chart that shows now, but you can also have one that shows what you're going to look like 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And can you imagine having people come in to interview you, and if they're deciding they're going to work for you or somebody else, and they sit down in your interview and you've got vision documents up, you've got org charts for 2030 up, that just separates you from your competition, allows you to go to the next level. Another thing I would say is we use futuristic language. Always want to be talking about where you're going in your company. And instead of today, look where we're going. Always be planting those seeds in your coworkers and your leadership team. This is where.
Yeah. One thing that I loved always about even just working with you and having you as a business leader was you cared about the vision for the company, and you cared about sharing that vision. But it was always really important to you too that people had a vision for their future selves. And that was a part of it. It was never just, we were never creating boulders just for the business. It was always like, what do you want yourself to look like in 2030?
For sure.
What do you want your health to look like? What do you want your family to look like? And so I think that was always fantastic.
Absolutely. For sure.
That leads us right into a great question, which is about legacy and impact. That's what this is all about, right? Is what we're leaving behind in the world, and what we're leaving behind us as we transition from one company to another. So when you think about the businesses and the leaders that you've helped, there's been a lot of them, hundreds, maybe thousands of employees and hundreds of leaders. What do you hope your long-term impact will be? What does that look like for you? What do you want them to remember most about their journey with you?
I've seen some of my previous coworkers have gone on to start their own businesses now. Like you said, there's a lot of them. And that just makes me happy. And to see that they've been in business already for 5, 10 years. And so they're stable, they're making money, they're changing their lives. Just seeing people grow, not only in business, but personally, having that impact on them. Like you said, we make them change. We make them focus on their family, their relationships, their health, and make an impact there. And like you said, the gentleman came up to me just a few days ago, told me I was the best boss they ever had. And I hadn't seen him in 15 years, and they would have never gone in business if it hadn't been for me. And that's the kind of stuff that makes me really feel good. And to know that we always talked business, but we always talked life too. It was to have fun. And so, yeah, I hope that's the legacy that I leave, and will grow and learn and continue to pass it on.
You have a family full of entrepreneurs now too. You have that's I feel like such a big part of your legacy is two of your kids started businesses this year.
Absolutely.
And that's just incredible. And it's not just that, but I feel like the impact that you leave behind too is you've built these leaders, but you've built them with your core values, which to me means that there's generations of leaders that you've really created. Because an old service manager who now started his own company, he's got kids, he gets to now, his kids get to watch him grow a company and lead in that way. And how is that going to impact their future? And so it's been such an honor to watch your impact and how it's had not just the people that are working directly for you, but the generations and generations that are going to come after them, including our own and my kids. So thank you so much for sharing your experience, your wisdom. Thanks for talking with me today. I really hope that everybody gets some value out of this. They listen and they take it to heart. They will, because it'd be impossible for them not to. So
Absolutely.
if you're looking for a co-pilot in your own business journey, Gary's the one you want flying with you. Thanks for tuning in. If you want more information, if you want to buy his book, if you want to register for one of our online courses, or just directly connect with us at Copilot Coaching, you can visit us at copilot-coaching.com. Don't forget the dash. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Copilot Coaching Podcast.